Today's Evening First Alert weather show is brought to you by Bresky Siding.
And good Friday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick with your Friday evening forecast update brought to you by Bresky. Pretty active this week. Seems like every time we turn around, it's snowing again. Did get some sunshine yesterday, but of course that is short-lived this time of year. So we're taking a look at downtown Saginaw tonight. First live camera, and sports director Mark Pearson just walked in to the studio, and he said that as he was coming in, the snow was really starting to come down once again. But we take a live look at the downtown Saginaw camera. It's really tough to see. Camera doesn't always do it justice. There might be some smaller flake size, but we certainly have some more snow getting set to move back into the area tonight, and we'll have some more as we go through tomorrow as well. It does look like we've got a pretty good pocket of snow if we zoom in on Saginaw. Let me just pause that and take a quick look there. It seems like if we can zoom in far enough, we got some deeper shades of blue. Looks like most of the snow seems to be around M46 and Gratiot and just south of there towards Bridgeport. So maybe we're just getting clipped by it here in downtown, and that's why we're not really seeing it all that well on that camera. But definitely a good pocket of snow there, getting set to move back through just to the east of Thomas Township. It seems like we've got a good shower just to the west of Chesaning, so that will be likely moving in there as well. Mount Pleasant, one just to the northwest of you. Wademan, one just to your southwest. And we've got a little bit more snow going up to the north in Iosco County and into Ogama County. Got a lot of reports today out of West Branch and in the vicinity of West Branch. Of about 6 inches of snow. And we talked last night on the stream. If you were watching that stream, we were kind of keeping an eye on that Roscommon and Ogama County area. Admittedly, wasn't confident enough in an exact location to put that on the map, but we did talk about the possibility that we could see someone get about 6 inches of snow, and it looks like that came to fruition. So we'll take like partial credit for that. But didn't put it on the map, so it doesn't count fully, I suppose. But it sounds like that area got some good snow today. A lot of totals within that region totaling about 2 to 5 inches of snow. A lot of areas a little bit further to the south, about 1 to 4 inches of snow. So everything seems to be within reasonable ranges of forecast. We did have a couple here and there that, of course, are without or are outside of the bounds of those ranges, but that typically happens when you've got some of these lake effect events that come through. So nothing that I would say is terribly out of the ordinary as far as any of this snow's behavior. So let me take a look at the comments tonight and just see what we've got in there, if anyone has anything. Good evening, Linda, and good evening, Denise. See if anybody else. Good evening, Wendy. Got a good amount of people on tonight. Here's the sky tracker. We'll start with a loop on the radar first, though, just so it's a little bit more local. But you can definitely see we've got some of these heavier pockets of snow, little bursts that are coming through. And that is likely with the first of 2 cold fronts, which is going to be coming through as we go through tonight. The first of which is producing what we're seeing right now. This cold front that is out to the west, it's probably a little bit further east at this point. And then we've also got this cold front that's just to the west currently working its way through Wisconsin. That one's going to be a little bit slower. That one's going to take us through tomorrow, and we'll add some additional lake effect snow as we go through tonight. Susan said, did just a quick Walmart run at Bad Axe just now. Drizzle ongoing. Okay, so we've got a little bit of freezing drizzle potentially happening in the Bad Axe area. Hopefully that doesn't last too long. Occasionally what can happen is there's a certain level of our atmosphere where you produce snowflakes, and it's typically a certain temperature range. And sometimes what happens is we have moisture in the cloud, but that moisture is a little bit below the part of the cloud or outside of a temperature range where we typically make snowflakes. And so what happens is you still have moisture that produces precipitation, but instead of being able to produce those really nice snowflakes, depending on your view, I suppose, not everybody thinks they're nice, but you get those really good structures of snowflakes, but if all the moisture is outside of that typical zone where they're created, you get more of the drizzle. And unfortunately, it sounds like Bad Axe is getting a little bit of that tonight. Again, hope it doesn't last too long. Chris, Tawa City got 3.5 inches of snow today. Okay, Chris, appreciate that. Linda, how much snow has come down west of Mount Pleasant? Let me see. I'll run through some of the reports that I've gotten up to this point. I solicited totals probably about I would say, an hour and a half ago. I'll just read through at least a couple. About 5 to 6 south of West Branch, Pinconning about 4 to 6. So Pinconning right on the edge of overachieving a little bit. Looks like Harrison, that's the closest I've seen so far. Linda, Harrison got about 5, it looks like. About 5 in Standish. Or no, excuse me, Harrison about 6. So Harrison was one of the spots that got a little bit more. Bay City about 3 or 4 inches, depending on what side of Bay City. It looks like we've got a lot of variation around Bay City, getting some totals around 2, maybe 3. Others are saying about 3 and 4. 2 to 3 in Unionville, Gladwin and Midland County line, snowfall around 4. 4 inches in Eau Gray. 4 inches in Gladwin, 3.5. Oh, Chris, you already sent that total to me. South end of Bay City, someone's saying not much, maybe an inch. 4 inches east of Deckerville, Standish 5 inches, Kindy 4 inches. So seems like a lot of totals between about 2 and 5. And then Sioux checking in, Bay City got a little over 2 inches. So again, Bay City's kind of all over the place. 2 to 3 inches of snow seems to be the most common, but getting some that are about 3 and 4. Derek about 2 in Mount P. So that gives that answer there for somebody who was asking about Mount Pleasant. 5.5 in Prescott. So up north, getting some pretty good snow. Jason and Lori Brown on the stream tonight. Good to see you guys. Ogemaw County getting some good snow today. So let's take a look at what we're kind of watching for tonight. And so this is another round of lake effect snow this evening. And we're kind of watching for these little banded structures that you see right here. And what we're expecting as we go through tonight is there's likely going to be, see if I can pause this right here. We're kind of watching this area here, extending from Mount Pleasant over to Midland and into northern Bay County, and any areas that are north of there as we go through tonight. Because what you'll see as we go through time is you get a more uniform band that does develop, but it also moves a little bit further to the north with time as well. And so it might form around Mount Pleasant and Midland, but then move a little bit northward as we go through tonight. And then it just kind of stays steady for a little while in that area. And it kind of hits that Clare, Gladwin, and Aranac County line. And then it just kind of fizzles out into tomorrow afternoon. We get a little bit of a break, and then we get more snow that comes through Saturday evening into Sunday. And so it's in those areas that I think we'll have a chance to pick up some additional accumulation tonight and tomorrow. And this is, I think this paints the picture pretty well. And I think the reason for that is because it allows for some shifting to go on. I think a lot of places in this area here could pick up another inch or 2 of snow. But I think the top end of the range is going to be what's in question. So you see a few of these pop up around 1 to 3, some others pop up around 1 to 2. And so I think kind of where that most consistent area ends up being is who has the best chance to get another maybe 2 or 3 rather than 1. If you're a little bit further to the south and west, the wind direction not quite as favorable going into the weekend. So I think a lot of these areas like Saginaw, Flint, Lapeer, Owasso, your additional snow through Saturday, not anticipating a ton. If you get a couple of snow showers from time to time, think eventually, you'll pick up some accumulation. That's the frustrating thing about lake effect for anybody who's forecasting it like we are, is you can get such a localization out of some of these snow showers. But I think this tells at least the primary story through Saturday evening. And then, as always, I just put that kind of the disclaimer out there that it is lake effect. And if we get some stronger banding or something like that, can always overachieve in a few spots too. But I think a general 1 to 3 in some of those areas, right around that Mount Pleasant to Standish line and to the north. Midland, you're kind of a little bit more on the edge than Mount Pleasant, but I think you can be included in that too. Those are the areas that I think have the best chance to pick up a little bit more tonight and tomorrow. So not seeing anything in the comments yet. But then we go through Sunday. So let me take a little bit of a zoom out. So Sunday is a little bit less intense than Saturday. We just get some scattered snow showers through the day. It doesn't look nearly as heavy as some areas might be on Saturday. But I do think Sunday night, things will have a chance to pick back up again. And then going into Monday, we'll likely deal with some scattered snow. And I think on Monday, we'll need to watch the potential for any snow squalls that might try to come through. And in addition to that, we'll be pretty chilly on Monday as temperatures crash early next week. We're likely in the teens much of next week. So I don't anticipate a warm up anytime soon. A lot of people are asking, when on earth are we going to get back to some temperatures that are a bit warmer? And the answer to that is we're going to get maybe close to the upper 20s and low 30s tomorrow. And then beyond that, there's really nothing close to that for at least the next, I would say, probably 7 to 10 days. And it could be even longer than that. We could finish the rest of January on a much colder note. It is possible that we could go the rest of the month with below average temperatures much of the time. So this takes us out to about January 25th. You can clearly see that we've got below average temperatures favored through then. And if we take a look at the extended from January 24th through the 30th, so pretty much all the remaining days of January except for one, we've got below average temperatures expected then too. So if you're hoping for days in the 40s, you know, never say never, but I don't anticipate that happening for the rest of the month. And so it's already the 16th, right? And so we've got about just over 2 weeks left before we get to the start of February. So it doesn't look warm. So for those who like being out on the ice, that's good news. So we'll build up some ice coverage the next several weeks. Might be one of the best ice years we've had in a while if we keep the progress going, especially for an extended period of time. But for those who don't like being in the freezer, certainly not the most favorable forecast. And then if we take a look early next week, this is Monday. If I can get to Monday, let's try that. We'll go all the way out to Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning. We've got wind chills dropping 0 to about maybe 5 below. Gets a little bit worse through the day. But if I can go to a more extended model here, we can go a little bit further, and we're below 0 by 4 o'clock Monday. And then as we get back into the school bus stops on Tuesday after the holiday on Monday, a lot of schools might be sending the buses out with wind chills that are 0 to maybe even as cold as 20 below at times on Tuesday morning. And so that's something that we'll be watching for next week. Could there be some cold weather advisories? I think it's possible. Schools are typically delaying or closing when you get closer to about 20 below. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes these numbers can get a little bit worse as you get closer, not necessarily saying it's going to happen this time around, but you get better information the closer you get. And if we add more snowpack to the ground, there's the potential that we could be even colder going towards next week. Let's see, Barb asking, I apologize for joining late, no big deal, Barb. Have to go to Grand Rapids tomorrow. We're going to be hitting bad lake effect snow on the drive and that side of the state. I think you're going to run into lake effect. It's tough to say, you know, how bad it will be. I will say it's probably not going to be a great drive. Is it undrivable? I think it depends on your comfort level. It's not the, I would say, worst lake effect we've ever had. But we do have what appears to be some winter weather advisories over there. So let me check on Grand Rapids, see what their winter weather advisory says. So it looks like, well, the advisory expires at 7 a.m. So let me just take a look, Barb, really quick, and I'll see if I can see kind of what is expected after 7. Just give me one moment. Wendy asks, how windy is it going to be Monday? I think you're going to look at some gusts between about I would say 30 and 40 miles per hour on Monday. So things are probably going to blow around again. Oh, let's see. So, Barb, I would say from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. on Saturday, it looks like Grand Rapids is somewhere around a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of snow. So it seems like the worst is tonight. I would say, unless you're completely uncomfortable with snow, I think you can do it as long as you're careful. But what I would do is I would check the MI Drive map tomorrow morning and just kind of see what road speeds are doing over that way. All you have to do is Google MI Drive and you'll find it. But certainly expecting road crews to be out in that area. They handle things usually pretty well over there. That's what they deal with. So I wouldn't say it's to the point where I would tell you not to go at this point, but obviously be careful. Hope that helps, Barb. Barb's husband is a paramedic. Those are, they can handle anything. They're used to driving in some of these situations when we got bad roads because they have to help people out. So I would say if he's very comfortable in winter weather, I think you'll be fine. I would expect, just the standard slippery conditions at times, but if he's comfortable with that, I think you're okay. So yeah, that's the stream for tonight. Unless anybody has anything else quickly, just some more additional lake effect through the weekend. Most of us probably see less than 1 inch for the entire weekend. But if you're up north, especially north of US 10 or kind of around that Mount Pleasant Midland area and north of there, I think you have the chance to pick up another couple of inches of snow this weekend. We'll have multiple opportunities for lake effect going into next week as well. What appears to be another chance for snow on Wednesday. And then some more snow showers possible Thursday and Friday, and we're staying cold right through that stretch. And again, somebody asked how windy will it be on Monday. I think gusts between about 30 and 40. So that's combined with the cold temperatures, wind chills going into Monday night and early Tuesday, probably somewhere around 0 to 20 below, and I'd say probably more likely 10 to 15 below, with maybe some areas pushing 20 on more of a limited basis. But we'll obviously be watching that as we go towards next week. So otherwise, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Of course, if any other updates are needed through the weekend, we'll of course have those for you. My page, usually try to post a couple times in the weekend if it's necessary. I do at least a little bit of the time, kidding of course, try to spend time with my family on the weekend because I don't get to see them much during the week. So, but usually if the weather gets too active, we'll have plenty of updates that we'll pass along to you. Otherwise, stay safe, have a wonderful weekend, and of course next week stay warm, but we will obviously be doing some live streams next week as well. So I will see you all then. Have a wonderful weekend.